Members of BTS are joining the military. Here's how much it will cost the South Korean economy. The biggest boy band in the world is joining the military. Its true members of K-pop phenomenon BTS will be enlisting in the South Korean military. The policy, known as conscription, requires all able-bodied men in South Korea to serve its military for at least 18 months. The band announced the hiatus through 2025 during their dinner party back in June. While the question of conscription was top of mind for many, the band framed their break as a pivot to focus on solo pursuits. When markets opened the following day, investors began dumping shares of BTS management company, which lost $1.7 billion of market cap in the first hour of trading as the band's eldest member Jin neared the age of conscription. Questions around the possibility of exemption mounted. Jin's age had already been the impetus behind one revision to South Korea's Military Service Act just 3 days before the artist's 28th birthday. What came to be known as the BTS Law adjusted the maximum age of conscription for K-pop singers from 28 to 30 years old on October 17th, though the band's label confirmed via Twitter that each member of the global K-pop sensation would complete his obligation to serve, with Jin set to begin his service this November. The impact of BTS's conscription is likely to extend beyond an upset fan base, with actual economic consequences. Physical and digital consumption revenue calculations found that BTS was the #1 global recording artist in 2020 and 2021, with dozens of sold-out shows, 2 Grammy nominations, and 4 tracks in the Billboard Top 10. Best-selling U.S. digital hits. The power of BTS's worldwide success has brought measurable prosperity to South Korea's culture, economy, and industry. It's known as the BTS effect after the band's hits song Dynamite topped the Billboard 100. Institute found that the BTS song generated nearly 8,000 jobs and $439 million for the South Korean economy. A 2019 Hyundai Research Institute report found that BTS was generating an estimated $3.9 billion in economic value per year, approximately 0.3% of the country's total GDP. That's revenue equivalent to about 35 mid-sized companies. South Korea's tourism industry ranks among the top 60 countries worldwide, and BTS brings in hundreds of thousands of tourists to South Korea each year. In 2017, 1 in every 13 of the country's foreign visitors said BTS was the reason behind their trip. How the influence of BTS might taper going forward remains to be seen, as each of its 7 members step back from music and into their new roles in the South Korean Armed Forces. For fans of the band, all hope is not lost. During an August parliamentary session, South Korea's defense minister said, "I believe there will be a way for us to give them the opportunity to practice and allow them to leave the country and perform anytime if they have overseas concerts scheduled. Until then, listeners will have to rely on BTS's 9 studio albums and 42 singles to hold them over." With the band's oldest member, Jin, turning 30 this December, the question of whether the compulsory draft should be applied to BTS and whether the band's contribution to South Korea's economic and soft power merited an exemption became more than just public debate, but a crucial legal decision. Indeed, BTS was given a lifeline in 2020 when a change in Korean law raised the maximum service age from 28 to 30 for those who could defer their service. But more importantly, BTS is not the first band to face this quandary. Previous bands in this situation have either taken a break or recruited new members to replace those in service. None, however, have achieved the global economic, diplomatic, and cultural success that BTS has. With the band's oldest member, Jin, turning 30 this December, the question of whether the compulsory draft should be applied to BTS and whether the band's contribution to South Korea's economic and soft power merited an exemption became more than just public debate, but a crucial legal decision. Indeed, BTS was given a lifeline in 2020 when a change in Korean law raised the maximum service age from 28 to 30 for those who could defer their service. But more importantly, BTS is not the first band to face this quandary. Previous bands in this situation have either taken a break or recruited new members to replace those in service. None, however, have achieved the global economic, diplomatic, and cultural success that BTS has. Many critics of conscription argue that it has harmed Korean society by removing half of the labor force at its peak. Even though conscientious objection was considered a crime as recently as 2018, the alternative isn't much different from a prison sentence. Conscientious objectors are expected to work in the country's prison system for the duration of their military service, and their information is kept in a public database. The public has not been kind to those who have used unconventional methods to avoid service, such as renouncing citizenship or having 10 teeth extracted. Many argue that the law is unequal, with many in Korea's political and business circles refusing to serve. Ironically, BTS's stint in the army may be exactly what the army needs, with many of its soldiers potentially amenable to the forces after BTS's stint. The Korean Defense Ministry is aware of this, with the defense minister stating, "There would be a way to give them a chance to practice and perform together." He was quoted in August as saying that if BTS members do join the army, they will most likely be allowed to continue practicing and join other non-serving members on international group tours. However, these statements raise concerns about the return of the entertainment soldier system, removed in 2013 due to allegations of unfairness. This move may also serve as a reminder that soft power isn't everything. While it is true that South Korea has benefited greatly from Hallyu's global soft power credentials, it must also contend with the fact that Hallyu will not solve its military or economic problems. When BTS reconvenes in 2025, it will be a watershed moment not only for the band, but also for whether Hallyu and Korean soft power have long-term stability and appeal. As a nation at war with its neighbor, South Korean law requires all able-bodied men between the ages of 18 and 35 to serve in the military. Initially created to foster sporting success, the list of exempted has grown over time. Classical and traditional musicians and dancers who have won one or more of 5 domestic and 37 international competitions have been granted a complete or partial exemption from military conscription, joining medal-winning athletes. Exemptions are also available for those suffering from incapacitating diseases. The question of whether BTS should serve has sparked debate not only within the BTS Army, a term used to refer to the larger BTS fan group, but also within Korea's actual army, with Defense Minister Lee Jong-sup informing lawmakers that he had asked officials to investigate the possibility of conducting a survey to map the polarized public opinion on the subject. The issue has also been a source of contention between the ruling People Power Party and the opposition Democratic Party of Korea, which are both in favor of and opposed to BTS conscription. In recognition of BTS economic and social contributions, opposition lawmaker Kim Young-bae proposed a bill last month to create an alternative form of conscription.